What's up YouTube, this is X79. Guys, today I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile video for April 2021, and today guys, we're going to be looking at my FA deck. Now FA is an archetype that's been around since the beginning of the Link Brain era, appearing as a TCG exclusive archetype across the first 4 core booster sets. It is a wind attribute machine type archetype, and according to Konami, if you have that pairing of type and attribute, that basically means the whole central theme of the archetype is level manipulation. FAs can manipulate the levels based on the types of spells and traps you activate during the course of your turn, or even your opponent's turn for that matter, allowing them to gain access to some pretty awesome effects that can provide protection or even cause problems for your opponent throughout the course of their turn. I can tell you right now, this deck is insanely budget. Pretty much every single card in the main deck you can get at the super rare rarity or lower, which will allow you to save money to buy more expensive cards for the extra deck. So it can keep up with some meta decks and cause problems with them, as well as allowing you to keep money in your wallet as well. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. And the first monster we're covering is 3 copies of FA Hang On Mock. Before we continue further, all the main deck FA monsters, they have the same level manipulation as well as attack manipulation effects. First and foremost, their attack is 300 times whatever their level is, so level 4s will start off at 1200 attack, and anytime you activate an FA spell or trap, the FA monsters will gain 1 level, aside from any other levels that the spell or traps could be giving the monsters. Furthermore, as they gain more levels, they will also gain access to other effects. In this particular situation, if Hang On Mock has a higher level or rank than your opponent's monster, Hang On Mock becomes unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects, which is huge, a great protection effect. And if it's level 7 or higher, it basically becomes the Dark Lore of the FA archetype, allowing you to banish any card your opponent sends to the graveyard. Moving forward, we also run 3 copies of FA Whip Crosser. Whip Crosser has the same attack and level manipulation effect. If its level is higher than your opponent's level or rank, your opponent will have to pay 300 life points to activate monster effects, which is actually pretty awesome, allowing you to get closer to the basic win condition of pretty much any duel, reducing your opponent's life points to 0. If it's level 7 or higher, your opponent cannot send monsters from their hand to the graveyard in order to activate effects. So this card basically shuts down hand traps like Ash Blossom, Effect Battler, Ghost Spell, Skullmeister. You get the idea. Very awesome card. Next up, we have 2 copies of FA Dawn Dragster. Now, unlike the other FAs, you cannot normal summon or set this card. It has to be special summoned, and the only way to special summon it is if you control an FA monster that's level 7 or higher on the field. You get special summoned onto the field, right from your hand. Downside is you can only get 1 card of this guy's on the field at a time, but it's not an issue. It also has the same level and attack gain as the other FA monsters, and its effect is very interesting because you can reduce its level by 3, target any card in the field and pop it, and that actually just plays into some of the strategies that are incorporated into the FA archetype. Also provides you with some disruption during your turn to take apart your opponent's field. So, very good card to have. Moving on, we have 3 copies of FA Auto Navigator. This is the tuner monster of the FA archetype. This card can be special summoned from your hand or the graveyard as long as you control a FA monster whose level is higher than its original level. Now, the way this card works, I'm just going to explain it real fast, is if, let's say we have Hang On Mock on the field and it's already at level 7. You can target it with FA Auto Navigator, your special summon Auto Navigator to the field. Hang on Mock will lose the additional levels it has, going back down to level 4, and then FA Auto Navigator changes its level to level 3. This can allow you to actually go into your level 7 synchro plays. Furthermore, Auto Navigator also has another effect whenever it's summoned, whether it's being normal or special. You're searching your deck for a FA field spell, and I can tell you right now this deck loves its field spells, and you can actually do a whole lot of different things with the field spells and this deck, so definitely it is worth having at 3. That's it for the FA monsters. We're going to go into my little spicy engine here, and I'm running the Despot engine in this deck, primarily to help the synchro plays out a little bit further and to get a few more negates on board, because this deck can struggle getting interruptions on the board at times, since it only really has the one, or actually 2 interruptions. Alright, everybody knows what the Despots do. You summon 003, special summon 001, and then from there you just climb into your link plays. Very awesome, very easy to get going, and it's just a great fit overall with the deck synchro theme. The further out around in the master lines, we're running 2 Mecha Phantom Beast monsters, the original Wind Machine R-Type that can modify their levels. We have Megaraptor, and we have 1 copy of Tetherwolf. Now, Megaraptor here is actually a piece of the Despot engine that I'm using. Basically, we're going to be utilizing its search effect by tributing off a token on the field to search out Tetherwolf. Tetherwolf is typically used and reserved for your following turn as a normal summon. It generates a token, and from there you can actually utilize the token and itself to go into link plays. Very awesome, very great way to actually incorporate both Wind Machine R-types into one particular deck, and I can tell you right now, this works so well. Alright, that's it for the monster lineup. We're going to go right into the spell lineup. First and foremost, we have 3 copies of the UA Hyper Stadium. Now, you probably, someone wondering, wait, UA, this is an FA deck. What is a UA card doing in it? The thing about Hyper Stadium is that it also counts as an FA card. It's literally on the first line of the card description text in the parentheses, which is very cool, and it also allows it to be searched out of your deck via Auto Navigator, since it's always treated as an FA card. On activation, this card can actually search you out another FA monster to add to your hand, which is great. All the field spells do give you that ability to search your FA cards. And if you happen to have another field spell in your hand, you can reveal that card, pay 1,000 life points, and you get an additional normal summon of an FA monster. So it can help you build your boards to even greater heights. So this is definitely a great field spell to have. Moving forward, we have 3 copies of FA City Grand Prix. City Grand Prix, one of the better FA field spells among the other FA field spells we have. Primary reason is that while this card's on the field, all your FA monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects, which is huge. That level of protection just helps you play uninterrupted. Furthermore, all your FA monsters will gain 2 levels during the main phase as well as the battle phase, which is also very good, allowing you to actually gain additional levels and get to those particular effects that you need. Furthermore, like all other FA cards, field spells, when the card is destroyed, you get to search your deck for any other FA card you need into your hand, and that's monster, spell, or trap. So you get the whole idea of popping your field spell to search your deck. It just jives very well, and it's worth it. The last field spell I'm running is 1 copy of FA Circuit Grand Prix. Now, a lot of people might question, oh, why not run Off-Road Grand Prix? I have a few things. City Grand Prix gives 2 levels during the battle phase only, while Off-Road Grand Prix gives the levels only during the main phase. So, if you're looking to try to get over problematic monsters using FA cards, this is a better card. Furthermore, if one of your FA monsters destroys one of your opponent's monsters by battle, you get to draw additional cards, so it gives a little bit more of a consistency boost on top of being its destruction effect. So, That's the reason why I like that. I mean, Off-Road Grand Prix is more of a better card if you want to keep that on the field, if you want to get revenge pops whenever one of your FA monsters are destroyed. So if you want to toggle with the ratio of the field spells and incorporate Off-Road into the deck as well, be my guest. This is more of a personal preference right now, running City Grand Prix. We have 3 copies of FA Pit Stop. Very awesome card. You target one of your FA monsters, reduce its level by 2, and then you're able to draw cards times the number of pit stops you have in your graveyard plus 1. So the first one you're activating is like an Upstart Goblin. The second one is going to be like a Pot of Greed. And the third one is going to be like a Graceful Charity, just without discarding cards from your hand. Very awesome. Other thing about Pit Stop is that it does have an in-graveyard effect. As long as it's not the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard, target an FA monster in your graveyard, and special summon it back to the field. So it has a NR-type monster reborn built into it. Very cool card. And the card that helps this deck get going is FA Test Run. Target a FA monster you have in the field, change its battle position, and then you can destroy any card on the field, whether it be your own or your opponent's. Very cool. Just like Pit Stop, it has an engrave effect where you can just banish it as long as it's not the turn it was sent. Target one card you control and pop it. So this is just great to pop off your field spells to get additional searches of the actual cards you need. Next up, we are running a Foolish package. 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, as well as 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is in there to get your Auto Navigator into the grave if you don't open it up with it in hand. Foolish Burial Goods because we have the Pit Stop as well as Test Run, and at least 1 FA Trap that all have engrave activated effects, just to help set up further plays down the line. So it's just a natural fit into the deck as well. Final spell of the deck is 1 copy of Set Rotation. This deck just synergizes so well with so many field spells in the deck. You give yourself 1 field spell and set it on your field. You give your opponent another field spell and set it. It locks your opponent out of activating their own field spells, which is actually pretty cool. But in reality, what you want to be doing is opening this card with Test Run, so you can activate Test Run, pop the field spell you give to your opponent, get that search, and then pretty much activate your field spell, which should be the Hyper Stadium, to get an additional search on top of that. So definitely you get the whole idea of how well it synergizes with this deck. Okay, next up we have 2 copies of FA Overheat. Overheat, pretty damn awesome trap card. On activation, allows you to special summon a FA monster from your hand to the field, and that monster gains an additional 3 levels right off the bat, which is cool. That can allow Hang On Mock or even Whip Crusher to get to that level 7 barrier and start banishing stuff or preventing your opponent from activating hand traps. So this is a good way to actually counter hand traps with this deck. Furthermore, like I said, it has that engrave effect. As long as it's not the turn that was sent there, you can banish this card from your graveyard and activate an FA field spell from your hand or your graveyard onto your field. This is such an awesome card, and your opponent doesn't really see this coming about activating a field spell right from your graveyard. This is the only archetype that actually can do that, and it's just so awesome just to be able to have that ability. So this is pretty much almost like a metaverse while it's in the graveyard. Final trap card of this deck is 3 copies of Silent Judgment, and the primary reason why we run 3 copies of Silent Judgment, because it just says no to whatever your opponent's doing. No to summons, no to spells, no to traps. Yes, it does cost you half your life points, but hey, you can activate this card at any point during the duel, allowing you to stop your opponent cold from trying to get back into it. Alright, so that's the main deck right there. We're going to go right into the extra. Starting off with the FA Link Monster. This actually came out a little bit after the archetype was finished here in the TCG. 3 copies of FA Shining Star GT. This card, since it doesn't have a level, it gains its attack via the link arrows and the FA monsters it points to. Basically, it gains 300 attack for every level of the FA monsters it points to. It's very similar to how the main deck FA monsters work. So this guy can actually get pretty big. That's the good news. Bad news. Neither player takes damage involving a battle with this card. So if you're looking to try to win a game with this card, it's not going to happen. However, if your opponent has a problematic monster on the board and you can't out-effect it, swinging over is pretty much the best way to do it, and this card can get it done for you. Even if you're not causing damage on your opponent, just getting a problematic monster off the board is worth it. Furthermore, this card doesn't just sit there when you're activating FA spells or traps. Every time you activate an FA spell or trap, this card gains athlete counters, and those athlete counters actually give the FA archetype something that was missing when it first came out, and that's the ability to negate monster effects. Basically, you remove a athlete counter from the card. Whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you negate the activation of that monster effect and destroy the monster. Very awesome. During recent testing, I can tell you right now, I really haven't gone into the third copy of Shining Star. 2 copies seems to be more than enough. So if you guys want to swap out the third copy for something like Greyfly to give your Wind Tribute monsters a little bit of a power boost, and possibly recover a Wind Tribute monster from your graveyard with this destruction, that's actually a way I would go. Furthermore, in the line of Greyfly, we have the Wind Charmer Verdant. On summon, you can steal a Wind Tribute monster from your opponent's graveyard onto your field, giving you additional Link Fodder or Synchro Fodder, depending on what you want to use it for. Great in the matchup against Virtual Worlds. And this card is ever popped and destroyed, you get to search your deck for a Wind Tribute monster with 1500 less defense. That's Auto Navigator, Whip Crosser, and both of the Mecha Phantom Beasts. Furthermore, we have the Synchro Engine cards, Crystron Hacker Hooverbacks. I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. Everybody pretty much just knows the combo. And of course, we follow that up with Mecha Phantom Beast Aurodon. Pretty key with the Despot combo as well. So, what you want to do is you want to end up with this combo on the board that has Boros Savage Dragon equipped with Aurodon to give it 3 counters that can negate 3 different effects, which is awesome. And then you also want to use the remaining token on the board and tuner on the board to build into Herald the Arclight to give you another banishing effect, as well as another Omnigate on the board. FAs are no slouches to negates. They do have the level 7 FA Dawn Dragster. This card is a generic Synchro monster, and it has appeared in other Synchro-centric decks for the purpose of negates. It can negate spells and traps, which in today's game does come up a little bit more often. Gains attack and levels the same way as all other FA cards. The negates do cost you to decrease its level by 2, but hey, with the other FA cards being activated, it's going to gain levels, and you're not going to be in a position where you don't have to really worry about this card all that much. Furthermore, we do have 2 level 9s FA Synchros, and that's the FA Motorhome Transport. Again, gains levels and attack like all the other FA monsters. Having this guy being pointed to by Shining Star GT can help that card get even bigger. Also, if this card is level 11 or higher, it's unaffected by all your opponent's card effects. Very awesome. And if this card is level 12 or higher, oh man, this card, once per turn, can bring back an FA monster from your graveyard back onto the field. So, yeah, definitely it's worth having, and it's a great mid to late game card. The final Synchro slot I have is just for any level 7 monster you feel fit. I like to run Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, primarily because you have that compulsory evacuation device effect, whether it be on summon or your opponent summon. Very good. If you don't want to run Moonlight, you could always run Sideframe Lord Zeta. Its quick effect allows you to take a special summon monster off the field and basically keep away with very important resources to your opponent, so you can actually break up the combos using that. And if you're a little bit more battle-minded, Cyber's Quantum Dragon is actually another great card. It can offer protection as long as you have a elite monster on the field, and it could bounce cards off the field when it attacks as well as gain additional attacks. So you have a lot of different options there to play around with. And furthermore, we are running 2 rank 7 Xyz monsters, and those go to the Mega Venom Beast Dragossack. Dragossack is just a token generator to help with synchro plays, as well as be able to give you fodder to pop cards off your opponent's field during your turn. It also protects your Mega Venom Beast monsters from being destroyed by battle or card effects while they have tokens in the field. So, very cool card to round out the extra deck, if you ask me. Guys, that is it for my FA deck profile for April 2021. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Check out the description box below. Find the links to my affiliates, tcgplayer.com, as well as sidedeckversus.com. Great resources for any Yu-Gi-Oh player. Find my Discord, invite link to my Discord server. Join a conversation. We'd love to have you. Follow me on social media. And as always, guys, until next time, peace.